Okay, it is Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, 5:17 PM. And with a quorum of members present, I will be calling the Finance Committee to order. The first item on our agenda this afternoon is minutes of the previous meeting from September 24th, 2024. Any discussion on that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion. Okay, a motion from Gisselman, second from Tierney. Any discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? That carries. Item number 2, discussion and possible action regarding 2025 Business Improvement District Operating Plan. And this is an item that annually comes to our committee from the River District. And we have Callie here from River District Wausau. If there's any questions on this, otherwise we'll start discussion or I'll entertain a motion. Okay, the motion from Gisselman. Second from McElhaney. Anything else? Any discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye. 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 Opposed? And that carries. So thanks, Callie, for coming this afternoon. Greatly appreciate it.
So this will go to council at the next meeting.
Okay, good deal. Item number 3, a discussion and possible action regarding the creation of a private well abandonment assessment program. There was a little bit of information in our packet on that. I don't know if we have anybody here from Water or Public Works.
Because Eric is at a conference,
Okay.
but I don't see him. So I can speak a little bit about
Okay.
it. So there are properties in the city that have a private well. Many of them are used for sprinkling lawns, but they have to have inspection periodically, and I'm not quite sure exactly how often the inspection is, but, you know, the inspection itself is expensive, and some people are not using their wells anymore. To be in compliant with DNR regulations, you have to close your well in a certain manner to protect the groundwater, and what we'd like to do is offer a 5-year special assessment to homeowners who are interested in closing their wells, because while the state has a program to help people close their wells, it is income driven and the threshold is relatively low. So there's people who really can't afford to do this, but it would be in our best interest and their best interest to get it closed up. So this way they will shoulder the full cost, but we'll basically finance that for them over a 5-year period. So that would be the program.
Alderman McElhaney?
Do we know how many wells are in the city?
I
Mike?
don't know the answer to that. I don't recall if that was disclosed at the last meeting or not. I couldn't, I could not give any sort of guess.
Did this come out of the utility
Yes.
commission meeting? Okay.
How did we come up with this amount, this particular amount?
I think they looked at what the cost would be for closing, because we've, been involved. I think we also inspect when the closure takes place. Bill, do you do the inspections too? I do. Okay. Or Scott might have called a plumber to find out what the cost would be.
Any other discussion on that?
And we have software that we would use to track it that will roll one installment onto their tax bill if they don't make their payment. And then we would be monitoring for real estate sales like we do, so that it was disclosed and paid off at time of sale.
But this would allow them to break up those
Yes.
closure payments so they don't have to bear that cost all
Right.
at once. They can spread it over
Yep.
5 years and it's on their property tax
Yep.
rolls, so, okay. If there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion. So, McElhaney?
A second.
And second from Henke, a discussion? Not hearing anything, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries. Okay, item number 4, discussion and possible action approving sole source purchase request for 2024 audit services for the finance department.
I'd included a sole source request. So what we're looking for is to be able to retain our current CPA firm, Clifton Larson, to do our 2024 audit. The last time we went out for RFP, which you can see was a while ago, we had 2 top proposers, Schenck and Clifton Larson, and now they have merged, so they're one firm now. When I look at the expenses that we pay, it feels like they're reasonable as compared to what some other communities are paying for services, as well as, it was a decrease from last year, though we had some extra services in our 23 audit. We could go out for RFP. We're a little limited on time. Our goal had been to get the auditors to come in this fall and do some compliance testing on our ARPA programs before that December 31st deadline. And, if we were to go out for RFP, that would take a while. The reason we were basically delayed in going out for RFP is, with the first year of Workday, our year-end close has been, a challenge for us. We had a complete turnover in all of the accounting, the professional accounting staff this last year, which also created a challenge for us. And so, we turned in, we had certain thresholds that we made. We had to have our audit into the state by July 31st, and we made that deadline, and we had to have our single audit, which is basically our audit over federal and state assistance, turned in to the federal clearinghouse by September 30th, and we turned that in on September 30th. So we made both deadlines, but really we have been learning the new software, trying to figure out how to get the proper information out of the software, and with the turnover, it's been a challenge this year, and we're still implementing, new software. So we felt that some continuity with our auditors on even how they're testing ARPA and evaluating our controls would be helpful as well. So that's why we've submitted this.
Okay. With the consolidation that's been going on with CPA firms, there's not a lot of choices
Right.
either. I know, I always hear about another merger every day. So, okay, any discussion on this?
Mary Ann,
Yeah.
will we be looking at getting some some different costs next year?
Yes.
Since we have, okay.
Yep, we
because-
definitely could go out for RFP then for the 25 audit.
Absolutely, because I don't think that we should be comfortable and not be looking at others.
Sure.
Okay, anything else? Otherwise, I'll entertain Alder Henke.
Yeah, I'll move to approve.
Okay, a motion from Henke. Second from Gisselman. Discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that carries. Thank you. Item number 5, discussion and possible action on contract for inspection services with the city of Schofield. The city of Wausau has been providing contract services to Schofield for several years now. So this is a renewal of their 4-year contract. We do have Bill Hebert in the house if anybody has any questions on the contract. Otherwise, I'll take a motion. Okay, motion from Gisselman,
I'll second.
second from Henke. Discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that carries. Thank you. Let's see. Item number 6, discussion and possible action on modifying the ARPA budget for firefighter positions. Now, we talked about this in a previous meeting a few weeks ago about the possibility of needing additional money for three of the firefighter positions, not the ones that are covered by the SAFER grant. So
Right. And I think Jeremy is here.
Jeremy's here if we have any questions. Otherwise, it looks like the funding for 2025 would be coming out of ARPA investments,
Right,
investment return.
yes.
So, yeah, okay. Any questions on that? Yep. Oh, Tierney.
When I was looking at this resolution, there is a reoccurring cost of $364,000 annually. What is that for?
What is it under?
Fiscal impact summary?
Oh, I think that would be for 3 positions each year.
Each
You
year.
know, a total of the 3 positions annually.
Okay, so once the ARPA money is, because the ARPA was
Exhausted.
financing this. So once the ARPA is done, then it goes into their budget.
Yes, and it would
Okay.
be levy funded then, basically.
So we've got $364,000 more that's going to be levy funded?
Yes, in the future, as well as the 9 safer positions. So I think Jeremy is working right now with FEMA to get an extension because we were slow to hire and we had, some vacancies throughout the process so far. So it appears that we will be
So, yeah.
successful in,
Well, it does appear, I'm a little frustrated with FEMA and
Oh.
how fast they get back to you. But with the 3-year SAFER grant money, we're on pace to not spend it all is what Mary Ann's getting at. And then what we're going to end up doing is asking for extension so that we can spend it all down, meaning we'd go past that 3 years. But either way, after that money's gone, then it comes over to our budget.
Okay. The slow to hire, I think that was getting qualified applicants,
Yeah.
because,
Across the nation, the fire service is struggling to hire. We're getting creative and doing a lot of different things. And, just trying to get to that point, whether it's, we're working with NTC, we're working with different ideas up in the HR department of how we can advertise and if we can get some of our licenses and certifications after hire and those sort of things to get our hands on qualified firefighters and paramedics before other fire departments are. It's kind of a shell game right now also. A lot of what you're seeing is a lot of young firefighters are moving from department to department and looking for where the grass is greener. So it's a recruitment retention issue in the fire service, and we're doing everything we can every day to try to get creative to beat it, stay ahead of it.
okay, thank you.
Okay, Alder Henke?
Thanks. I think FEMA's got their hands full right now, so.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that feeling
we
you're
have
going on
a.
back burner.
Yeah, there's a SAFER, she just handles all SAFER grants, and I think she's a sole person, and I've left her emails and messages, and, I've even talked with the help desk, but they are shorthanded wherever, so I'm sure they're all helping each other out, but it's probably part of the challenge. Her email 2 weeks ago said she was gone for a week. Then I left messages thinking I could talk to her last week, and now I see her email says she's out till the 8th, so, which is what, today?
We recently closed a TID, correct?
Correct.
That could help finance this. Do we have another one due to close? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, yeah, so we will be discussing that in the future. TID 7 would be ready to close after 2025. So the council will have, I guess, a couple of options. One is to extend that 1 year for housing. We went to the Joint Review Board. Council and the Joint Review Board approved a 3-year donation of TID 7 to TID 12. So you, in theory, have 2 more years that you could allow that to occur. Again, it would go through a legal process where the Joint Review Board and council would have to approve. So that is basically where we are with TID 7.
Okay, thanks for the update.
That's a couple years out.
Yeah, only been here a month now, so I'll catch up. Thank you.
All right.
So Chief,
Yep, go ahead.
so how are we with staffing today? And are we short or, and And what's the prospect for the rest of the year? And then will we be short?
Well,
How do
it's-
you see that, how do you see staffing?
I don't have a crystal ball. Right now, we just onboarded one. Next week, we'll be onboarding another one. We have 2 in the queue, meaning we're waiting results back from some of their tests and whatnot, with the psych test and the physical agility. And we have one more from the line retiring in December. We have our fire marshals retiring in December. I'm hopeful that we have a lot of interest with EMT basics, being interested in coming on board, and obviously a lot of them would like to get paid to go to school to get their paramedic like we did last year. So I see that as a recurring thing with EMTs coming to me and saying they're interested and wanting to get in some sort of class is what I'm anticipating some of that interest is from. We also have we're still alive in the Senator Baldwin's congressional spending, where we wrote for that with NTC for over $3 million to start an apprenticeship program. We're also working hard with NTC right now to just do an apprenticeship program through the Wisconsin Technical College program, where we'd be the 5th department starting this in January. We would do a paid apprenticeship program through the technical colleges. So we're doing a lot of things. So I'm hopeful that we're at full staff come January, but I've been hopeful for 2 years now, and it's kind of that.
But generally, we run what?
Right now, we're running 6 short with 2 on light duty, so 8 short. With the 3 more coming on, we'll be back to 5. 2 more retiring, back to 8. It's kind of 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Right. Because how does that, with regard to how does that affect the budget as such and how we prepare for next year, specifically with other kinds of funding? Just curious. Thank you.
So Jeremy, did you adjust your minimum staffing yet?
Staffing?
No.
Correct. Well, we played with it when we got up to the numbers, and we're back down to where we were.
Okay.
So we're back at 15, which means we don't have 3 on an engine right now, and we are not, we're not running rotation on our ambulances. So we're back to where we were before this grant started, just because of how much overtime it would cost to maintain what we were doing and the burnout that I was about to see from our staff. And that's the last thing I want to do is, when it comes to retention, is burn out the ones we do have. But I would like to see that rotation by the end of the year come, higher enough so that we can get back to a rotation and get 3 on our engines, which was the whole purpose behind the SAFER grant to begin with.
Even with a smaller crew per engine, not having to pay the overtime will minimize our costs too. So,
Say that again?
I said that even with we're not running 3 on an engine because you don't want to run the overtime. Not paying that overtime does have a benefit to the budget. So,
Sure.
yeah, Alder Keeney.
Sure, I have a question. You were talking about paying for schooling for some of the EMTs, and my question is, if we pay for the schooling, do they have to commit for a year, or, because I know like Aspirus has that for CNAs, so they pay for their schooling, but then they have to commit for a year or pay that back?
So if we ever get to the point with our partnership with the tech where we move forward with their language and everything, there is language already put in place through the technical college system, so that there would be a lot of grants out there that the college is writing for. They've already done this over in, somewhere in the Medford area, but Abbotsford, where they wrote a grant to do this sort of thing. So we have. They're very confident in their grant money, and they're very confident in the payback that would come with their language, and that would all come in a presentation one day if I ever got to that point.
Okay. My thought is that obviously this is an incentive for them to stay with us for a year, but also if we spend this money on an education for them, for the EMT, and they leave 2 months later, we shouldn't be out the money because maybe they were in it just to get the education and then move on, so.
Yeah, and some of them that we did put through the class, there was some reimbursement, not nearly, the numbers we would like to see that would keep them around or anything like that, but, it's the age-old question, if they don't want to be here, do we really want them? And I know there's money to worry about, but there's also the fact that, we're doing a very important job and we want the best of the best and the ones that, are wholeheartedly in to serve our community. So it's a balancing act and it's tough to get to, but I'm confident with as much as we're exploring and everything that we're trying to do to stay ahead of the game, I'm confident that we're going to get there. It's just keep fighting and moving forward.
All right, any other questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion. Alder Tierney?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, motion from Tierney. A second.
I'll second.
Second from Henke. Discussion on that? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Okay. Item number 7, discussion and possible action regarding ARPA funding request and related budget modification, moving $800,000 sewer headworks screening funding to Cherry Street Sewer Lift Station rehabilitation. So there's a small narrative in here from our Public Works Director about how if we kind of move this funding around, we can get principal forgiveness
Right.
and still use the ARPA money on an equivalent project. So,
Exactly.
Alder Tierney?
Yeah, when I saw this, because we had allocated this from the solar
Yes.
project for the meters, I don't agree with this. I think it needs to go back to the solar project to see if they can get a contract signed. We
No, this
We-
is,
No,
well,
this
Yes.
actually,
moved the $800,000.
this isn't the meter, this
Okay.
isn't the meter funds. This was 800,000 that was allocated for the screening system at the wastewater treatment plant that gets the solid materials out of the system before it hits the rest of the process. So the dollar amounts are the same, so I understand the confusion, but it's a different program.
I still think that we stole from the solar array to go to the meters. I think we should still take this 800 and put it back into the solar array if they can get the contract signed. I did talk to Chad, and he's said everything is good to go. So I think they could still do it, and I think with it being, we could have moved, if we would have known, this 800,000 to the meters, but we didn't know at that point in time. I think, in my mind, it's right to give this back to solar if they can get the bids in by the end of the year. That's my thought on this.
Okay, any other discussion?
Yes.
Comment.
Yep, Alder Henke?
Yeah, I would love to see this go to solar. Those that we're on the same page. In the private industry, I would like to think I could get a bunch of quotes together and get a bid and get it signed by the end of the year. In government, I think we could do it if we were super aggressive. And I just don't want to leave any ARPA money on the table. So as much as I would also love for this to go to solar, I'm going to be okay with this going to this lift station, and glad to know I have someone else to help me in the budget process here. So that's what I have to say. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else? So, I know it's, yeah, and I see that would be nice to slot this money into the solar project. I know the bids have already been let for the Cherry Street lift station, so this is something that can actually be accomplished before the end of the year. So I don't know if there's anybody else has anything to say on that. So looks like Alder Gisselman, looks like you're ready to speak.
Sure. Yes, but, I mean, it was last month already that we were assured from staff that it's just too late. So I think the city council at that time pretty much agreed that it was too late. Now I'll vote for this, but now we hear that it may not have been too late.
That's just my opinion, Gary, so
Well,
coming
I
from the
mean,
private industry.
But still, so with that, thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to say how long it's going to take to let bids, but I understand, the want to get the solar project off the ground too. So, okay. If there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion. Okay, motion from Gisselman, a second. Second from McElhaney. Any further? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, one no from Alder Tierney. The motion carries. Item number 8, excuse me. A discussion and possible action regarding ARPA funding request and related budget modification, moving lead service line replacement to water SCADA equipment. Another reallocation where we can reap the benefit of principal forgiveness from the safe water drinking loans and use this funding in another part of the water utility. So, and the amount there we're talking about is $330,000.
Yep. And again, something that we can easily bid out quickly.
Because it's that we've already committed to the SCADA equipment.
Yes.
So this is just attaching a different funding source to it. So any discussion? Alder Hinkie?
I was just nerding out because I saw the word SCADA, and that's what I do every day. So I was hoping someone would be here and we could talk for hours about
I said
SCADA systems.
I
but-
pronounced it correctly, didn't I?
Yes, it's SCADA,
Okay,
yep.
it's SCADA.
I didn't know that's what you did.
Yeah. And so I'll move to have the budget modification from the ARPA funds to the SCADA equipment.
Okay. There's a motion from Hinkie, a second. A second from McElhaney. Any discussion on that? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then we'll be bringing the balance of the ARPA at the next meeting, at the
Okay.
next regular meeting in October.
In 2 weeks.
Yep.
All right. Item number 9. Discussion and possible action approving sole source purchase request for final design bidding and construction inspection services for the Cherry Street Lift Station for the Department of Public Works. And I think there was a little bit of information here in our packet on that. And that was going to be engineering costs from Clark Dietz Incorporated at an amount of $82,900. Any discussion on that? Alder Hinkie?
Was Clark Dietz the same company that helped with our water plant and our,
No, I think ARPA actually funded, the goal was to design kind of a generic lift station. Because my understanding is that almost all of our lift stations need replacing, that they've all reached close to the end of their useful life. So through ARPA, we had hired Clark Dietz to do a generic design. And so they did that work. This is expanding that to focus on, most of it is just the, what do you call it? The construction management is most of that. So they would be knowledgeable in the design itself.
I believe Donahue was the one, most of the one for the
Plant.
new plant,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, Donahue and
Sorry.
Becker Hoppy were the principal designers on the, yeah.
Yep. But Clark Dietz designed this generic lift station building and equipment, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like the bulk of this is up construction management.
Yep.
So, all right. If there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion. Motion from Tierney, second. Second from McElhaney. Discussion? Not hearing anything. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that carries. Okay, and item number 7 is, will be for closed session, so does somebody wish to make the motion to go into closed session? Who wants to read it? Who wants to read it? Okay.
I had to find it.
Okay, yep.
Okay, I move we move into closed session pursuant to Section 19.85, Sub 1, Sub G, conferring with legal counsel for governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved regarding Marathon County Case Number 19CV162, Kenneth J. Stankowski, etc., to City of Wausau regarding a settlement offer.
Do I have a second? Second from Tierney, and this will require a roll call vote. So we'll start with Tierney. Henke.
Aye.
Gisselman. McElhaney. And I vote aye as well. We are going to go to closed session. We will reconvene and open if there is action on our closed session. So thank you.
That went quick.